In our modern, interconnected world, international transport plays a crucial role, enabling us to travel faster, access new markets, and obtain essential resources. In Hong Kong, a vibrant global trade hub, our bustling port and thriving transport industry connect us worldwide. However, this growth brings with it significant environmental impacts: air pollution, waste, and congestion. As we strive for a more sustainable future, it becomes imperative to strike a balance between economic growth, environmental responsibility, and social progress. Welcome back to another episode of our series, Sustainability in Action. I'm Ross Vermeer. In our previous episode, we learned about the efforts of local transport operators in Hong Kong to reduce carbon emissions and promote sustainable mobility. Today, we will broaden our perspective to explore what international transport operators have accomplished in the realm of sustainable transportation.
Sustainable transportation is the capacity to support the mobility needs of a society in a manner that's the least damageable to the environment, so it doesn't impair the mobility needs of future generations. A reduction of the environmental impacts of transportation is a likely strategy for sustainability. Now, sustainable transportation is closely linked to several Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. For instance, SDG 9 focuses on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, while SDG 11 emphasizes sustainable cities and communities. We also have SDG 13, which refers to the actions that tackle climate crisis, SDG 14 for life below water, and SDG 17 that promote partnerships for the goal. These SDGs provide a framework to address different aspects of international transport. When we align our efforts with this goal, we can certainly make significant progress toward creating sustainable and inclusive international transport systems. It's all about working together and finding innovative solutions to ensure our transport networks support both our present and future needs while protecting our environment.
We are delighted to have with us today esteemed business leaders from the international transport industry who have made remarkable progress in achieving the SDG goals we've been learning about. In the upcoming sessions, we will explore three key areas: cargo logistics and international ports, passenger transportation between various cities, and express, parcel, and courier services. To kick things off, let's focus on the companies involved in international port and cargo handling. We are honored to welcome representatives from Hutchison Ports and Hactl, which are prominent players in sea transport and air freight, respectively. Their expertise will shed light on the sustainable practices and innovative approaches within their industries.
Hutchison Port, we move cargo securely through the supply chain and worldwide to facilitate world trade. And we ensure that products and essential supplies that society needs actually flow through our ports seamlessly. As a responsible business, we contribute positively to the development of the communities in which we operate. In whatever we do, we aim to create a positive impact on the environment and the society and the community. So we also believe in protecting the environment for the well-being of future generations, which is imperative in what we do. And we are in a long-term business, and so sustainability is extremely important as far as we're concerned to ensure that we can continue to operate and serve the society on that basis. traditionally that's always using diesel power. But by us switching over to electric powered machinery, it's actually decarbonized our operations greatly. And so from that perspective, we continue to work with our equipment manufacturers to actually make our operations much greener. Separately, in terms of the artificial intelligence, we're using some very clever university graduate to help us in terms of writing our stacking algorithm to make it much more efficient, therefore reducing less carbon emission. And the other aspect that we are also working very closely on is using robotic technologies in terms of using those to help us, as well as remote control capability. And I think in Europe, engaging with the government to talk about sustainability initiative will be a little bit more easier sometimes than to talk to some of the developing countries in terms of the sustainability agenda, looking at scope 1 and scope 2 type of energy transitions. I think scope 1 direct emission. If that particular country doesn't have very good electricity supply, then we have to find other means to actually sort of decarbonize our scope 1. Can we use hydrogens to do that? And then with scope 2, which look at electricity supplies, again, you then look at this indirect energy source coming from in some developing countries will be much more difficult to get hold of greener type of energies compared to European countries, where you have wind power, solar power, etc., that actually provide opportunity to use much greener energies in supplying our equipment. And we're doing a lot of work to trying to reduce that. But the other part of climate change, like rising sea levels, etc., is important as far as port operations is concerned. And so working with a lot of water engineers and consulting firms, so we look at how we can protect the habitat and trying to influence and the way that rising sea level may not actually have such a big impact in the areas that we operate. But I think the most important point is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and get to net zero as quickly as possible to ensure that we don't have a such big climate swing into torrential rain in some of the locations and very, very hot weather in Europe, which is like this year, which is very unusual in that respect. It's a much bigger problem, so we can only do whatever we can as quickly as possible to ensure that we contribute to minimize the climate change impact to the whole world.
Hactl is an air freight ground handler and the largest independent in Hong Kong, with over 100 airline and 1,000 air freight agent customers. We prepare export cargo for flight by loading it onto pallets and into containers. We break down pallets and containers of import cargo and hand it out to import agents. We also provide ram handling services for freighter aircraft, loading and unloading cargo for freighters. A great example is our latest project, renewing our staff uniform. We took sustainability into consideration right from the design stage. The new uniform incorporated eco-friendly fabrics, which were produced from recycled plastics, and the manufacturing process minimized material waste. We also collected the old uniforms, and these are then being upcycled into holdalls for colleagues and teddy bears for children's charities.
Essentially, it's a very complex topic, sustainability, but what we've done at Hutchison Ports is to focus on three key areas: our environment, our people, and our business. The three pillars of sustainability are our focus in Hutchison Ports. Environment is to try and look at ways to reduce our carbon footprint and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. manage waste disposal, look at alternative sources of energy, which are non-fossil fuel. People is the three pillars, sub-pillars there are obviously looking after and developing our employees, helping our local community, and also working closer with our customers. And the last part, or the last pillar, is our business. And essentially two broad pillars there. One is maintaining or ensuring that we're an ethical business, well controlled, and we act in the proper manner in conducting our business activities. And the second part of it, probably for me, is probably technology. How we're going to bring technology in the coming years, in the coming decades actually, to help with the environmental pillar and certainly the people pillar in terms of safety, etc., being improved as a result of technological advancements. So that broadly is our approach in Hutchison Ports to the sustainability issue. Technology, in my view, is the key to success in terms of achieving our sustainability objectives, in particular on the environment, actually in all the pillars which are of the Hutchison Port Sustainability Committee's approach to this topic. In terms of technology itself by definition, because of the reliance on or the use of non-fossil fueled equipment, for example electric, enables us then to automatically pretty much reduce our Scope 1 emissions at the port as a result of using technology. And I use Terminal D in Lam Trabang Port here in Thailand as an example on the digitalization of our processes. Digitalization means essentially computerizing all our landside processes. So things like the invoices we issue to them, the payments that they make to us and settlement of those invoices, the issuance of the delivery orders, which is a shipping document which allows us to release the container back to the cargo owner. These are all in the process of being digitalized in a paperless fashion, if not already 100% done so. Also automation of all our gate procedures, no paperwork, just the card, the truck comes in, comes out, it's already been pre-cleared, is also now under progress. I guess the other thing which they may also be looking at the moment is obviously our environmental protection, or if you will, policies, the way we're dealing with reducing our carbon footprint. They have their own, I think the main thing I should point out is that in 2024, our policy is not to purchase or to acquire trucks which run on diesel or on fossil fuels. So we're going to move completely to a non-fossil fuel fleet from 2024 onwards. That's the objective. It's going to be a challenge, but it's an objective. So typically, for example, here at Terminal D in Thailand, we have a small fleet already of electric trucks, some of which are driverless or basically automated. They don't have any drivers in them. And a lot of our ports around the world are looking at solar energy, solar power, to power up their offices, for example. It's a very doable technology. It's clean. It means developing solar panels either on the ground or on the roof of the building to provide electricity. And that's something a lot of our ports around the world are studying at the moment as a means of moving towards cleaner energy going forward.
Next, we will explore the perspective of worldwide cruise terminals, followed by insights from DHL. These organizations' representatives provide valuable insights into the sustainable practices and innovative approaches within their specific fields. Together, we will learn how these companies are driving positive change and shaping the future of sustainable transportation.
Worldwide Cruise Terminals is a joint venture managing and operating the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal on behalf of the government, which owns it. Sustainability to us means the ability to operate our business over a long period of time in a way that benefits the community as well as our customers. So it's always been a very important, I'd say, integral part of our business and plans here. For us, really the most outstanding achievement has been reducing carbon output by more than 50% in this terminal, which was already a BEAM Platinum rated building. So that means taking already a very efficient built facility and making it much more efficient. I'd say there are no silver bullets, and we had to examine many different aspects of the operation, large and small. So that definitely included lighting. We regrouped lighting in different areas of the terminals where there is natural light so that we could only turn on lights in the places without natural light. We also examined our use of lifts and escalators so that, for example, all the lifts were changed from an individual operation mode to a group operation mode, and the escalators are only turned on when they're needed. Finally, I'd say we looked at every aspect of cooling, and in an enormous building like this, there are so many different layers of pumps and fans, and to really go through and look at the various layers and only use what's needed while continuously maintaining an excellent level of air quality. The Kai Tak Cruise Terminal was the first place in Hong Kong to have Tesla superchargers. So it was very exciting to be really on the leading edge of this rollout in July 2014, when many people had not heard of Tesla actually at that time. More recently, we've also installed electric bus chargers, and this is used regularly by Citybus. So we're very happy to see Citybus recharging their electric buses here every day now. We will continue to look at ways that we can be more efficient on our part at the cruise lines to be more environmentally friendly as well by enabling the use of liquid natural gas as a marine fuel in Hong Kong. Liquid natural gas has virtually no particulate outputs, vastly reduce nitrous oxide outputs, almost no sulfur oxide outputs, and has a lower carbon footprint than traditional fuels. So just within this year, we now have liquid natural gas fuel available, and it will be used by the electric utilities, and the ships will be able to use it too once a regulatory framework is in place. In fact, we could use this fuel here at the cruise terminal and also at the other container terminals around Hong Kong.
Well, DHL Express is in the business of moving documents and packages door to door from point A to point B. And we have over 50 years of international experience doing this. Our commitment to sustainability allows us to contribute to global efforts to mitigate climate change. By reducing our greenhouse gas emission, we can slow down the rate of global warming and protect the planet for future generations. So moreover, reducing our carbon emissions, especially through the use of sustainable aviation fuel or SAF and electric vehicles, leads to cleaner air and improved air quality. Now this positively impacts the health and well-being of the communities around the world. As small consumers and our customers prioritize eco-friendly practices, we focus on sustainability that can result in increased customer loyalty and satisfaction. By meeting and exceeding our customer expectations in terms of environmental responsibility, we can really foster a very stronger relationship and drive longer-term growth for our business. We are doing this by committing ourselves to a set of greenhouse gas emissions target by 2030 in line with the Paris Agreement. So this is done through setting science-based targets and investing 7 billion euros to achieve it. With this investment, we will increase our use of sustainable aviation fuel, design all new buildings that is carbon neutral, offer a comprehensive portfolio of green products, and electrify 60% of our last mile delivery. Then we have more than 80,000 e-vehicles on the road. Currently, we have 30,000 e-vehicles around the world and had ordered 12 electric cargo planes. So as a group, DHL was emitting some 39 million tons of greenhouse gases per year in 2021. We reduced our carbon footprint by 7% or 36 million tons in 2022. But at the DHL Group, our commitment is to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050. And we are proud to say that we are on track to meet our goals through the implementation of our DHL Sustainability Roadmap. So this roadmap includes several important goals and takes a very science-based approach for carbon reduction, aiming for carbon footprint of less than 29 million tons by 2030. DHL offers services like Go Green Climate Neutral for carbon neutral shipping, which aims to reduce the environmental impact. Now with this service, we have managed to achieve a 70% reduction with reusable boxes, and we are confident in contributing to a more sustainable future.
As these major enterprises make deep commitments to sustainability and employ a significant number of individuals, it's also crucial to understand how they engage various stakeholders to ensure buy-in and successful implementation of their initiatives. Let's listen to what they have to share about their approaches in engaging different stakeholders and fostering a culture of sustainability within their organizations.
Internally, we engage our colleagues through regular communication via our intranet, staff magazines, and e-learning. Chief among our measures is the annual Green Week, in which we invite sustainability partners to host various educational and promotional events for our colleagues. We publicize our latest sustainability achievements and initiatives through our annual sustainability report, which we launched in 2021. Sustainability is also one of the key topics of our company magazine, Hactl Link, which is distributed to customers and service partners worldwide. We also utilize social media platforms, the e-newsletters of key business partners and industry working groups to reach more people who may be interested in our work and achievements. Internally, we need engineers who are great at developing technical solutions that also adhere to our sustainability strategy, and sustainability professionals who can track our performance and drive improvement. But more importantly, we need everyone in the company to step up and be responsible for making our business more sustainable. We have been very successful in this respect. Externally, I welcome innovative technologies that help us achieve sustainability efficiently and effectively. We're always open to testing the latest solutions and collaborating with organizations across other industries. Local charities, social enterprises, and NGOs are key external stakeholders with which we are building effective strategic partnerships. Supporting these organizations helps us in understanding the challenges that our community has and ensuring that our efforts are responding to their needs.
A lot of our end users are actually in the retail business. And so consumers are demanding them to be much more sustainable and decarbonizing their supply chain. And so they are putting a lot of emphasis on understanding people who support them in that supply chain. What we are doing in terms of decarbonization, in terms of all the social agenda that we are pursuing. So our direct customers are shipping lines. And as you know, shipping lines, running ships, is actually quite a heavy polluter for quite some time. So they themselves are going through a journey of decarbonizations and also be much more inclusive in the way that they conduct their business. And so we have the end user and our customers both sort of pushing us as well in saying, asking, port industry, what are you doing to actually make the environment much more greener, and how are you decarbonizing your port? When are you going to get to net zero? So the buy-in from them, in fact, we're working very, very closely with a lot of our customers to achieve and help each other to achieve those goals. And we invest heavily in our rail infrastructure, particularly in Europe. We see that as a very important aspect of our strategies to decarbonize. So if you can actually move all your containers by rail rather than actually by trucks, I think certainly that will help to reduce your carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas emissions substantially, and we are very proud to do that.
A lot of our employees come from the local community. You know, a lot of our staff here, for example, come from within the local community, from local schools and from local universities. So we have a number of programs around the world, specifically here in Thailand. We have the Green School or the Dock School program, which has been a flagship initiative of the Hutchison Ports Group for many, many years, started in Hong Kong, in fact. And we've also opened up, this is our visitor center where I'm sitting today, which showcases all our technology. We've got some corporate videos, we've got the remote control center just in front of me, and we organize visits for their students to come and see, to look at the terminal in real life as well, again, to help with their studies.
We engage regularly with tertiary institutions in Hong Kong and other groups. Aside from leading tours for travel and tourism students, we're also very happy to receive visits by students of architecture and engineering and bring them through the terminal to show them the various environmental facilities and management aspects that have allowed our terminal to be so successful in managing carbon.
Our DHL group purpose statement is connecting people, improving lives. This common purpose unites everything we do at DHL, including our commitment to sustainability. And to live up to that purpose, we pledge to invest 1% of our net profit each year to create lasting impact for the people and the communities. And we want to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050. And we walk the talk with our investment in sustainable aviation fuel, in e-cargo planes, in e-vehicles and solar panels. We create a safe working environment and look after our staff well-being by having gyms and wellness areas in our offices. We share with our employees all the actions towards sustainability efforts through quarterly town halls, newsletters, and small group chats. We also organize Global Volunteer Day, and this is the 15th year that we are doing it. This global initiative by DHL Group aims to positively contribute to local communities and instill the spirit of volunteerism among our employees.
You can see how these organizations have demonstrated a strong commitment to sustainability and have implemented effective measures to reduce their environmental impact. Hutchison Ports, for example, is adopting green technologies to decrease emissions, while DHL focuses on optimizing logistics in ways that reduce the carbon footprint. Worldwide Cruise Terminals is dedicated to waste management and marine conservation. These industry leaders serve as inspiring examples, but we are also eager to learn more about the challenges these organizations have encountered on their sustainability journeys and the issues they expect to face as they continue to prioritize sustainability.
The main sustainability challenges that Hactl has related to the nature of our operation. Our Super Terminal 1 base is the largest multi-level air cargo terminal in the world, where thousands of tons of cargo are handled every day. We operate 24/7, so you can imagine the amount of energy required to move cargo around and to supply lighting and ventilation to our warehouse and offices. Waste is also generated in different processes of cargo handling. For example, the various kinds of packing materials discarded when we break down pallets and containers. While we do everything possible to recycle and reuse these materials, there is still a considerable amount of waste generated.
Well, I think the key part is it's quite a established business, and so to get the organization to change its mindset and to get to net zero, certainly it's actually very, very challenging. And I think in the past, with carbon-based fuel being the major fuel source for most of our equipment, it becomes quite challenging to actually switch out into greener energies. More recently, I think we have a lot more opportunity, particularly in the UK and in the European Union, where embracing green energy, more sustainable energies, given the war in Ukraine and the carbon sort of crisis that it brought with it, has actually focused people's mind to actually fasten the way in terms of the energy transitions, which then allow us to actually deploy some of these technologies, which in the past has been more difficult to get our hands on. And from that perspective, we continue to invest in these new technologies. And the biggest challenge is still how do we get to net zero as quickly as possible? And it's important to work with the equipment manufacturers as well as with local governments, with national governments, to see how we can actually employ alternative energy source as quickly as possible, which is something that, in my mind, is probably one of the biggest challenge that we face.
The future, I mean, very much for us and for our competitors and for many businesses is, I think, is the pathway to net zero is going to be the biggest challenge. We've decided at the Group Sustainability Committee to approach this in a very scientific manner. We're going to use the science-based approach to measuring our path towards net zero, which is likely to be 2050. And I guess the second thing, as part and parcel of that, is really the climate change issue, the challenge. Climate change obviously is linked to net zero. The scientists pretty much agreed, I think, that the faster we move to net zero, the quicker we hopefully will minimize the impact of climate change around the world. And obviously that, you hear stories about rising sea levels. Look, I'm not a scientist, but anecdotally, you can imagine some of the ports we operate in, or some of the locations we operate in, rising sea levels may be a challenge. Yeah, as the water rises, it might impact, our berths, our terminals, with water perhaps running onto the facility. But again, I don't know how that would work specifically, but rising sea levels, common sense would dictate would be a challenge as well.
Expectations are growing, both internally and externally, which is to be welcomed. Younger generations prefer working for companies that fulfill their environmental and social responsibilities. Investors and consumers are becoming more discriminating about company sustainability credentials before choosing to do business with them. We all have to move faster, not only to meet expectations, but also because time is running out. We are already experiencing the impact of climate change, such as stronger typhoons and other extreme weather patterns. There are more sustainability topics that we all have to work on, so there's no time for us to procrastinate. The aviation industry is widely recognized as difficult to decarbonize. But as a member of the industry and a key element of the global supply chain, Hactl continues to seek ways to reduce its environmental footprint and support customers with the most sustainable possible services.
With future technologies, the picture is always a little bit cloudy. There are various different roads that we could go down on. It could be that in another 10, 20 years, we need to be using another different fuel. But I think we just have to continue to make incremental steps and progress and keep marching down that road. There's no perfect, only better. We just have to keep improving.
There are 4 major trends in logistics, so namely globalization, e-commerce, digitalization, and sustainability. And they have gradually transformed the logistics industry over the years, and will continue to do so in the future. And in the area of environmental sustainability, alternative energy such as hydrogen and bio-based material, alternative packaging, etc., will also open up new horizons. But these are really at the moment yet to be at the scale that is ready for economic adoption. So what is important to note is that DHL walks the talk in our sustainability efforts. And we are also very heartened to see that many of our customers are also with us on this sustainability journey and taking responsibility to contribute to a better world.
It's inspiring to witness these industry leaders setting a positive example by making sustainability a priority in their operations, thereby paving the way to a more responsible business landscape. Their collective efforts should inspire other companies to adopt sustainable practices and contribute to a greener future. But the success of these sustainability endeavors relies on the support and collaboration of various stakeholders. Governments, consumers, employees, suppliers, and local communities all have crucial roles to play in driving sustainable change. By working together and embracing a sustainability mindset, we can create a more eco-friendly future for the international transport industry. Let's join together to make a difference.